Three, two, one.
Hello, beautiful people. Happy Saturday. I am here to have a little discussion on the original 1984 Terminator and how it needs a modern remake, or does it even need a modern remake? I do have a poll up right now in the live. Do you think we need a modern day remake of the 1984 original Terminator? Definitely or hell no. I will check the results before we get out of here. Hopefully I won't forget, because sometimes I forget to check the poll results before we end the live. And once I end the live, the results are gone. So I'm going to try my damnedest to remember. But I thought this would be a really interesting and fun conversation, especially because the original creator may think we need a modern remake. So I thought that was really interesting. If you are in here, if you are in the live, make sure you drop down in the chat. Let me know you're here. Let me know your opinions. Hey, Faith Family, Fun Reviews, thank you for being here. Tony T, thank you for being here in the live. I love the original film. Personally, I don't think it should be remade. Okay, so we got one person that is against the remake, but we are going to get into all things the original Terminator, the Terminator franchise, the Terminator universe, because we know it spawns movies and TV shows, and we are going to get into all things. We're not just going to discuss whether the original needs a remake, but we're going to discuss the franchise as a whole, how consistent or inconsistent the franchise has been. But I mean, it's been 40 years. The Terminator came out in 1984. We are in 2024, and we just got a TV show, an anime based in the Terminator universe. So I mean, it spawned 40 years, so it must be doing something right. It's a classic. Let the original stand the test of time. So we are going to get into a few articles that really sparked me thinking about all of this that I came across. And we actually have the man, the creator, the director, the writer, James Cameron, criticizing the original 1984 Terminator. So let's get into a few of. I mean, my mind was a little blown, but let's get into all things the Terminator franchise. James Cameron says parts of Terminator are cringeworthy, but defends one criticized element still. The Terminator director James Cameron reveals that he thinks parts of the film are cringeworthy, but defends it against one complaint. Released in 1984, The Terminator introduces Arnold Schwarzenegger as the T-800, a robot sent from the future to kill Sarah Connor, played by Linda Hamilton, who will eventually birth the leader of the human resistance. I feel like that's just a great premise in and of itself. Like, that's just such a great idea. The movie, which also stars Michael Biehn as Kyle Reese, Connor's protector, was widely celebrated at the time of its release and spawned a franchise that now features 6 movies in total. If I'm not mistaken, we have 6 movies and 2 TV shows. In a recent interview with Empire, Cameron reflects on the Terminator, revealing that he believes some parts of the film do not hold up well today. According to the director, the low-budget nature of the production, the film was made for $6.4 million, has resulted in aspects of the film being cringeworthy. I don't think of it as some holy grail, that's for sure. This is quoted by James Cameron. I look at it now, and there are parts of it that are pretty cringeworthy and parts of it that are like, yeah, we did pretty well for the resources we had available. Just the production value. Now, I think it is just so amazing that the Terminator was made on a $4 million budget. Like, considering the budgets for like current Hollywood movies and how people feel like you need a $50 million budget, $100 million budget. I mean, and even with Godzilla -1, like the things that can be created on a small budget is just so amazing. I'm just like, we made the Terminator with less than $7 million. Like, come on now, Hollywood. Like, some of the modern movies with these big budgets, we could do a little better. As for the criticisms he doesn't agree with, Cameron defends the Terminator's dialogue and, in fact, the dialogue from his other films as well. I don't cringe on any of the dialogue, but I have a lower cringe factor than apparently a lot of people do around the dialogue that I write. Now, I'm not the biggest James Cameron fan, but I do love Terminator. And I don't have an issue with any of the dialogue. I think the dialogue is all pretty amazing. What Cameron's cringeworthy comments mean for the Terminator. Cameron is undeniably one of the most successful filmmakers of all time, and it is no surprise that he looks back on his second ever feature film with a critical eye. That's okay. So it's amazing to me that, first of all, the Terminator was made on less than 7 million, but also it's amazing that it is only James Cameron's second feature film. Like, to create something so iconic with such a low budget and as only your second feature film, the numbers don't lie, however, and the Terminator, despite featuring elements that perhaps don't hold up today, was a hit critically and commercially. The movie features a rare 100% on Rotten Tomatoes from critics and an 89% from audiences. At the box office, the Terminator recouped its $6.4 million budget and then some, grossing $78.4 million worldwide. Cameron is undoubtedly correct about some aspects having not aged well, though, such as the stop motion used for the T-800 skeleton at the end of the film, or the Schwarzenegger dummy that was used for a mirror shot. This also isn't the first time Cameron has looked back critically on the Terminator, as he revealed this past April that he now has reservations about the amount of gun violence in the film, telling Variety, "I don't know if I would want to fetishize the gun like I did on a couple of Terminator movies 30 plus years ago." Now, yes, undoubtedly, and y'all already know, I say all the time that I am not a like CGI snob. I'm not an effects snob. Of course, I prefer practical effects in my horror movies and stuff like that. But bad CGI doesn't bother me, and it doesn't ruin a movie. And yes, when you get to the scene where Arnold Schwarzenegger is in a mirror, and I think he's like taking his eyeball out or something, and like the scene at the very end of the Terminator where the Terminator like flesh has been melted off and it's just the exoskeleton. Yeah, I mean, are the effects like the greatest? No. But does it ruin the movie? Is it cringeworthy? Absolutely not. And I mean, people go up for John Carpenter's The Thing, and I love that movie, but they go up for like the effects. All of them effects don't look real, child. Like, there's a scene, multiple scenes, but one scene in particular that stands out to me is when McCready does the blood test, and one of the people turn out to be the Thing, and his fire blower thing is glitching, so he tells the other guy to get it, and the other guy like freezes or something, and the Thing grabs him by the head and it's like shaking him around. That looks like a dummy. Like, that undoubtedly looks like a dummy, but for me, it doesn't make a bad film. Like, is it the greatest? No, but y'all only had a $7 million budget. Like, calm down. It's not cringeworthy. Our take on the Terminator's cringeworthy elements. The Terminator is in many ways a product of its time, but it's also a thrilling sci-fi thriller that remains a compelling watch to this day. The story moves fast and features some memorable star-making performances, and the film also paved the way for Cameron to make Terminator 2 Judgment Day, which is widely considered one of the best sequels ever made. The first film's legacy also lives on through the following sequels, with the critically acclaimed Terminator Zero Anime, the most recent new installment in the franchise. As far as dialogue goes, there's certainly something to be said for Cameron's defense, as many lines from the Terminator are now some of the most iconic lines in movie history. "I'll be back," for example, and "come with me if you want to live," which is what Michael Ben's Kyle Reese says, and has absolutely taken on a life of its own. I don't necessarily agree with the Terminator dialogue or some of those effects being cringeworthy. I think the dialogue is perfectly fine. First of all, what do we expect the dialogue of a T-800 to be? Like, I don't know why we would be critiquing like Arnold's dialogue or performance, which I've heard criticisms of that. But I think the dialogue overall, the writing overall, is very solid. And again, do some of the effects, maybe they could have done better with the higher budget. Maybe the effects could look better, particularly like the exoskeleton at the end. Maybe it could look better with modern technology or the current technology they had just with the higher budget. But I don't think that makes or breaks the film. I don't think it's an eyesore. Like, there's so much other things in the movie that makes it iconic that I don't think it hurts it in any way or warrants us having to revisit it and update it for a modern movie. I think James Cameron was sued for the Terminator because he took the idea from an Outer Limits episode. So what? I have never heard of that. Is that legitimate? I've never heard of that. But let's get into this next. Where am I at? Oops. Let's get into this next article. Nope, not that one. Here we go. This one. James Cameron explains why the Terminator franchise needs to move on from past characters and iconography. Oh, baby, do I have issues with this? Lord Jesus, when I came across this article, how I truly take freaking issue with this. Okay, let's get into this. The Terminator franchise's future gets a new tease from James Cameron, who hypes a radical new vision. And for context, these are all the current article, September 2024. The Terminator franchise's future gets a new tease from James Cameron, who hypes a radical new vision. Released in 1984, Cameron's first Terminator movie introduced Arnold Schwarzenegger as the T-800, a character who would go on to appear in one form or another in all 5 of that film's sequels. After the underperformance of Terminator Dark Fate 2019, it's been unclear what will come next for the franchise, with Cameron revealing last May that he is working on a script for a new film. In a recent interview with Empire, Cameron shares more about his vision for the future of the Terminator franchise, revealing that what comes next will move beyond the franchise's existing iconography and characters established over the last 4 decades. The reasoning for this, the filmmaker explains, is to make the franchise appeal to new audiences. Babe, I got a problem with that. I have such a problem with the whole appeal to new audiences, because that typically means appeal to younger aged people. And I feel like anytime a franchise goes in that direction, I just feel like they tend to dilute like the original aspects and ideas for the franchise, for the universe, for the world that was built. For example, like it reminds me of like Alien Romulus that just came out. And even though I love that movie, I have a lot of issues with it. And one of my biggest issues is, why the hell do we have these young ass teeny boppers? Since when have we had characters in the Alien franchise whose frontal lobes are not fully developed? Like, since when do we have little young teeny bopper characters? And I don't know if it's just because I'm old, but I'm not here for it. I'm not here for the less appeal to the young audience. For one, I don't think iconic franchises have to work hard to appeal to younger audiences. Like, I don't think that's the thing. Movies are timeless, and a lot of people watch movies beyond their time, like older than their time. I love Alien. It came out before, the first 2 movies came out before. Well, the first one came out before I was born. The second one came out the year I was born. Y'all didn't need to appeal to me. Like, they're iconic movies for a reason. And especially because with Romulus as an example, aging down the characters didn't add anything. Like, it's not like we aged down the characters and then it added like some amazing aspects for us to be like, oh my God, like, yes, the characters being younger brought so much. I don't like it. I hate any... I just feel like that terminology, when Hollywood says that, they want to get teeny boppers and they want to get really young, hot actors. And like, that's what Hollywood typically means when they say, let's appeal to the younger, to new audiences. They say new, but they mean younger. I just feel like it doesn't work. We don't need it. And the characters are iconic for a reason. Like, I don't know, but I mean, he wants to remake it. He's talking about a revision or whatever, but I don't know. Let me know. Am I just old? I don't like it. I don't like it at all. It reminds me of, like, I love Scream, and I'll never forget seeing Scream 4 in theaters, and I freaking hated Scream 4. Like, I hated it. And it also makes no sense in the grand scheme of the franchise, because where the hell are those characters? Like, we got introduced to all these characters in Scream 4 that just doesn't exist anymore, outside of them randomly bringing Kirby back in the last Scream 6. I'm just not here for let's appeal to the new audiences and let's get young actors, and I don't like it. I don't like it at all. At all. It doesn't work. But okay, let's go. This is the moment when you jettison everything that is specific to the last 40 years of Terminator, but you live by those principles. You get too incited and then you lose a new audience, because the new audience care much less about that stuff than you think they do. That's the danger, obviously, with Avatar as well, but I think we've proven that we have something for new audiences. I don't like it. I don't like it. F the new audience. As for what's left after stripping away characters like the T-800 and Sarah Connor, Cameron has a clear idea regarding what elements are at the core of a good Terminator film and how these elements could be used in a new story revolving around AI. AI, motherfucking AI. Baby, if we get one more AI, evil AI turns against, like, and I guess, look, it's Terminator. Terminator is the war against the machines and AI, but I just feel like we're bleeding too much with what James Cameron is saying into like this current trend of like the AI horror movies, and I just don't like it. You've got powerless main characters essentially fighting for their lives, who get no support from existing power structures and have to circumvent them, but somehow maintain a moral compass. And then you throw AI into the mix. Those principles are sound principles for storytelling today, right? So I have no doubt that subsequent Terminator films will not only be possible, but they'll kick ass. But this is the moment where you jettison all the specific iconography. While Cameron doesn't reveal specific development timelines or when a new Terminator movie will come out, he does suggest that the future of the franchise is now becoming more defined and more set in stone. It's more than a plan. That's what we're doing. That's all I'll say for right now. So James Cameron, who was the writer-director of the original 1984 Terminator, is actively working on a new, modern retelling, remake, revision of the original 1984. What Cameron's update means for the Terminator franchise's future. If y'all don't get the hell, go away, ads. Cameron's latest update confirms what stars like Schwarzenegger and Hamilton have already revealed, which is that they've retired as the T-800 and Connor respectively. The director's comment goes a step further, however, suggesting that audiences won't be seeing younger versions of either of these characters played by younger actors. The story of the T-800 and Connor then has seemingly concluded with the end of Terminator Dark Fate, and whatever comes next will involve an entirely new story and set of characters. I'm not here for a new story and new set of characters. Like, I'm not. I mean, are y'all here for a new set of characters? Like, I'm not. Our take on Cameron's vision for the Terminator franchise. The first Terminator movie was released 40 years ago, and while it remains a seminal entry in the sci-fi genre, there comes a time when franchises have to either die or reinvent themselves. Then just die. Like, just die then. Reviews for Terminator Salvation 2009 and Terminator Genesis 2015 were generally negative, and Terminator Dark Fate was a box office disappointment. The franchise's last 15 years then have not been particularly successful, and one could arguably include Terminator Rise of the Machines 2003 in this camp as well. Cameron's latest update is the best course of action for the Terminator franchise, as the IP is desperately in need of a fresh start, free from the last 4 decades worth of storytelling baggage. While Connor's story with the T-800 will always be special, and how the franchise got its start, untethering from this tale and embarking on a bold new direction could well result in a thrilling new story. F that. F that. Like, I'm not here for it. And we have to get into the entire franchise and all the movies it spawned, because I do not think the last few decades of the Terminator franchise have been terrible. Like, I don't. Am I in a boat by myself? Like, I don't think we need to just I guess I get the argument of like untethering, because where else can we go? with John Connor, Sarah, like where else can we go? Okay, whatever the hell. But then just leave the franchise. Like, why do we have to just drag franchises like forever? Like, let it die then. I don't like let it die. I'm just okay, whatever. Okay, let's get into um the entire like world and universe of Terminator. So, okay, so they want to like start over, revamp it, but let's revisit Terminator. The world of Terminator. 6 canceled Terminator franchise movies and TV shows explained. Oops, okay, this is the wrong one. That's the stuff we haven't gotten. I want to get to the current things that we have. Here we go. Wrong article. Every Terminator movie and TV show. So, although the Terminator franchise has endured for 40 years, not all of the films and TV shows set in this iconic sci-fi universe are created equally. Terminator is undoubtedly one of Hollywood's greatest action franchises ever. Let's get into. We have the Terminator, of course, Terminator 2, Judgment Day, Terminator 3, Rise of the Machines, Terminator Salvation, and then we have the TV series, Terminator, the Sarah Connor Chronicles, Terminator Genesis, Terminator Dark Fate, and our current Terminator Zero anime TV series. Those are all of the movies and TV shows in the Terminator franchise. Okay, so my personal like opinions and rankings, because I've been here from the beginning, I've seen the TV shows, I've seen all the movies, I'm a huge Terminator fan. So for me, obviously the Terminator and T2 are iconic, and I know a lot of people put T2 above the Terminator. I think it could go either way. You're not wrong with which I mean, you're not wrong in general, because they're all just opinion, but you're not wrong in putting either one above the other. But me personally, the original Terminator reigns supreme. That is my favorite in the franchise. I put it above T2. I think it is so masterful. And T2 obviously is amazing, but Terminator 1 is more like my personal taste, my personal vibe. Like, it's very like, it's action, it's sci-fi. It gives me like slasher, neo-tech, like horror type of dark vibes. And the casting is superb. I mean, I think it is just literally one of the few movies I have no critiques. T2 is motherfucking amazing. I have no critiques for T2 either, but we definitely went way more straight action with T2. I think it is the greatest John Connor casting we've ever gotten. Like, literally, Edward Furlong, the greatest John Connor casting. And then we get to Terminator 3, Rise of the Machines. And honestly, this came out in 2003. I was in like 9th grade, 10th grade. I saw T3 in theaters with my mother. We loved it. We really enjoyed Terminator 3. Now, honestly, I think Terminator 3 has aged terribly. I rewatched it for the first time in ages, and I did not understand why I love T3 so much. But for me, when we get into sequels and stuff in iconic franchises, I think it is so ridiculous to compare sequels to originals, especially iconic originals. Nothing will be iconic original movies. My basis is it a good standalone film, and does it like make sense in the timeline, in the franchise? Does it do justice to the world that has been created? And even though I think T3 has aged terribly, I think it is an enjoyable enough way to kill time. I do not think it's a bad movie. I think it is the worst, one of the worst John Connor castings, or maybe, and you know what, it might not even be the actor, because I do like him in other things. I think it's just the worst written John Connor. I cannot stand T3 John Connor. He feels like such a scrub to me. And then we get into Terminator Salvation. I love Terminator Salvation. When it came out, now I think it's aged great. I actually love it more as the years go by. I love Terminator Salvation. It's two things that I said since I was a kid when it comes to Terminator. I said we needed a movie that showed us and finally in the war. And I thought we needed a child Terminator. Those were the two things that I used to say all the time when I was a kid. So I was so hyped to get Terminator Salvation and finally get a movie in the war. And we still have the iconic characters. They're all recast though. We have Kyle Reese, we have John Connor, and I think the casting is amazing. I think it is super hard to recast iconic characters. And Antoine Yelchin as Kyle Reese is amazing. And honestly, I wouldn't cast Christian Bale for John Connor. I could not stand the Batman voice he put on in the movie. I love this movie, and I don't essentially like. I just feel like Christian Bale was not the right casting. Great actor. Look, he's great, but like, we are dead, we are all dead, like he was just too much. I just felt like it didn't feel like authentic, like it didn't feel like John Connor. I just wasn't, but again, I still love that movie. I think it's a great movie. So at that point in the franchise, for me, it would be Terminator, T2, Salvation, and then Rise of the Machine. And Terminator Salvation for me is a prime example of how I want Arnold Schwarzenegger to show up in a Terminator universe, because I am one of those people who feels like certain actors are the franchise. I think that Bruce Willis is the Die Hard franchise, like, period. Don't you dare make a Die Hard sequel without Bruce Willis. Like, he is the franchise. Like, certain actors who started with, built, made a franchise. I think Neve Campbell is the Scream franchise. I think Arnold Schwarzenegger is the Terminator. Like, he is the franchise. However, unlike other franchises, when you can bring back legacy characters and they can obviously age, I mean, a terrible example of them using a legacy character, but Texas Chainsaw Massacre, for example, it makes sense for that character to be older and have aged. But when we're dealing with the world of the Terminator, Arnold Schwarzenegger plays a cyborg. So the movies like Dark Fate and Genesis, I'm sorry, it doesn't make sense. And I am all for Arnold Schwarzenegger is Terminator franchise, but Salvation is how he should show up. Where get a CGI Arnold that still looked like the cyborg from 1984 and then burn him up so that it's just the exoskeleton. Like, this is a prime example of how he needs to show up. Now, I do think he needs to show up, but not as heavily as he does in some sequels. Then we have the TV series that only lasted one season, Terminator, the Sarah Connor Chronicles. I love that show. That show is actually really good, and it expanded. Like, we can still have the iconic characters, but it kind of expanded the universe. It's been so long. When did this show come out? It came out in 2008, 2009. Okay, I was out of high school, but it was still 100 years ago. But if I remember correctly, they were like taking out John Connor's like future generals. I don't know. They was trying to take out other people, but it was like a great way to like expand the world, and I thought they did really well. I don't know why that show got canceled. Then we get Terminator Genesis. Terminator Genesis for me is the only Terminator movie that I freaking hate. I hate that movie. It has not grown on me. I saw it in theaters. I hated it. I tried to rewatch it, I think twice. And at this point, I'm done trying to rewatch it. Like, it's just not growing on me. I hate that movie. And I hate it for a lot of reasons. Number one, like I said, this is another example of it's hard to recast iconic characters that were played like iconic performances. The recasting of Kyle Reese for me, terrible. And I don't like this actor because every time I see him, he's ruining one of my beloved franchises, because this actor that played Kyle Reese is also the actor that was in that terrible Die Hard movie. Okay. And for a lot of years of my life, I went up for the fact that Die Hard, Terminator, and Scream were the best franchises and the most consistent franchises as far as quality, which I can't say that no more. But I used to be able to say that. And then he came along and ruined Die Hard. And I also do not like the recasting of Sarah Connor. I am all for the Mother of Dragons. Okay, I go up for Game of Thrones. That was my show, but I thought it was terrible casting, and I just hate the way Sarah Connor was written and the way she was played. I hate the attitude she had. I hate her calling the T-800 pops. Like, the movie is a mess. But I think the biggest freaking issue that I have with Genesis is what they did with the John Connor character. Taking John Connor and having him work for Skynet. I mean, this is literally the franchise. The world of the Terminator has been built around everybody needs to die, sacrifices all for John Connor. Like, it's all about John Connor. Like, to me, making him a part of Skynet, that's like making Nev Campbell Ghostface. Like, how you gonna make Sydney Ghostface? Like, it just doesn't make sense. And I just feel like it's a terrible idea to do that to not only, and I won't even say fan favorite character, but just such a pivotal central character that this all has been based around. Like, everything has been for John Connor. And y'all are going to make him evil and work for Skynet. I just can't get behind that. To me, the way people are angered how Newt and Hicks were killed at the top of Alien 3, that's the way I'm upset about how they did John Connor in Genesis. And I just think the movie just doesn't work. Terminator Dark Fate. I did a standalone video on my channel for how Terminator Dark Fate does not deserve the hate it gets. I love Terminator Dark Fate. I love that movie. I have issues with that movie, but overall, I think it is a fun, enjoyable, solid made action movie. And I go up for Dark Fate. I love the return of Sarah Connor. And what's crazy is I am more upset about Genesis making John Connor evil than I am about Dark Fate killing John Connor. I'm okay with killing John Connor at the top of Dark Fate because we're going in a new direction. This is a new like timeline, so to speak. We're in a new future. It's not Skynet anymore. So I'm okay with us moving in a new direction and doing that. My two biggest issues with Dark Fate is Arnold Schwarzenegger. It makes no sense to have an AIDS cyborg. I don't care. AIDS cyborg, I don't want to hear about like, and then his like body and physique being different. A cyborg doesn't eat. And Arnold Schwarzenegger looks amazing for his age. But in the universe of Terminator, you're a mother freaking cyborg. It doesn't make any sense that you physically look different. Like, it bugs me so freaking bad. And then having him live with this lady and her son. Come on, baby. It just don't make any sense. And also, just when we get to the story of everything, it doesn't make any sense to me. Okay, so our future doesn't exist, right? But somehow Sarah Connor is like the Skynet future, right? Doesn't exist. But for some reason, we are getting messages from a future that's sending Sarah Connor to go kill Terminators. Terminators from what future? Because the Skynet future doesn't exist. And then we have I think the story gets a little too complicated and a little too convoluted. Like, it's nonsensical to me personally. I think it's nonsensical. But my other issue is what's her name? Danny? Which one was Danny? The girl who was like an enhanced human. She got on my nerves. I feel like she had an attitude for no reason. There are moments in the movie where she tells Sarah Connor like she wants to punch her in the face, or And it's so unwarranted. Like, it irks me. Like, why do you have such an attitude with Sarah Connor? And then I feel like, don't treat like a beloved, iconic character in the franchise like that. Like, they treated her with such dismay. And it also irks me when it's revealed that the girl isn't, like, when we find out she's not John Connor, we find out she's not Sarah Connor, the new Sarah Connor, she's like the new John Connor. The way they dismiss Sarah Connor and her contribution to be like, you know, you're not like a woman that's going to give birth to like a man that's going to save the future. Like, you are the future. I don't like how they did that. Like, I just don't like how we disrespected Sarah Connor's contribution that way. And then, of course, next in the franchise is the current 2024 series that I did a video on, Terminator Zero, the anime. The first anime I have ever seen in my life, and I really enjoyed Terminator Zero. And I feel like, I hope it don't get canceled, child, because you know how Netflix do canceling shows after one season. I think there's so many places we can go because they establish these like parallel and different timelines. So I feel like next season we could follow whole new characters that's mixed up in the whole Terminator timeline. So I personally do not think that the franchise has been inconsistent and like we need to just get rid of the last few decades of Terminator. Hey, Equalizer. Appealing to a younger audience has never produced an icon. Absolutely. Never produced an iconic film. That's why Hollywood keeps pulling from the past for ideas. It irks me when I will never, even when I was younger, I never understood the idea that we have to appeal to the kids and we have to appeal to young people. I will never understand that mindset. I think it is so stupid, and it really diminishes the quality of the film. Like, I went to try and watch the new movie on Netflix, It's What's Inside. I cut it off after like 5 minutes because it's a prime example of less appeal to the younger generation. Maybe it's just me. It is so cringeworthy, and I cannot stand when movies or TV shows do the whole social media thing. Like, you see the person vlogging, or like your screen looks like their social media. I hate that so much. Oh my God. And the movie starts and it's like a whole just section of like the girl on social media. I hate that. And y'all, that's what they would do with the modern Terminator. Like, John Connor is going to be like a content creator. Like, he's going to be an influencer. Like, Sarah Connor is going to be an influencer. And then Kyle Reese is going to come from the future. That's what the modern Terminator would look like, especially given the fact that they use words like appeal to younger. No, they didn't say younger. Appeal to new audiences, but y'all know that means younger. I just feel like, please, just don't. Just don't. Oh my God. Oh, Jesus. I don't know. But let's get into what the movies that have never been, the movies in Terminator that we have never seen the light of day. 6 canceled Terminator franchise movies and TV shows. The Terminator franchise is already pretty massive, but there are a surprising amount of canceled Terminator movies and TV shows that have existed throughout the years. Number 6, James Cameron's original Terminator 3. Although James Cameron had originally said that he didn't want to do another sequel after T2 Judgment Day, the director changed his mind after reuniting the cast for the Universal Studios ride Terminator 2 3D Battle Across Time. Cameron soon started working on a script for Terminator 3, but he wasn't immediately able to work on it due to him working on Titanic. The project was further delayed due to the studio that held the rights to the franchise going bankrupt, causing the rights to go up for auction. During the bidding process, Terminator 3 was in a state of stasis, making it seem as if it wouldn't happen. I would rather have James Cameron's Terminator 3 than James Cameron's Titanic. I don't know if I'm in a boat by myself. After years of waiting on Titanic to be completed and the rights to the Terminator to be bought, Cameron finally decided to leave the project in 1997. James Cameron gave approval for another film to be made without him, which ended up being Terminator 3: Rise of the Machines. Not much is known about James Cameron's original Terminator 3 script, although he had discussed the return of Sarah Connor with actress Linda Hamilton. However, despite James Cameron's involvement with the franchise, Terminator 3: Rise of the Machines had almost no involvement from James Cameron. So if the Terminator rights were not in limbo, we could have had James Cameron's T3 vision. I hate that. The Terminator Salvation trilogy. After the rights to the franchise were sold again in 2007, the Halcon Company began planning a new trilogy based on 2009's Terminator Salvation. However, Terminator Salvation was a box office disappointment. I cannot believe that because I go up for Salvation. What do y'all, I feel like that Tyrese mean, what more do you want from me? Like, what do y'all want from Terminator? Like, Terminator Salvation is a good movie. Leading to writer William Wisher's Terminator 5 and Terminator 6 getting canceled. These two films would have seen the further development of the relationship between Kyle Reese and Sarah Connor, using time travel to bring the former character back. This would have been on top of continuing Terminator Salvation storylines, although this never happened due to the trilogy being canceled. I'm mad at this one too. I go up for Terminator Salvation. I was so hyped at the time to finally get a Terminator set in the war. And to this day, I love that movie. I think it's solid. Like I said, I don't think Christian Bale was the greatest casting. And Antoine Yelchin, I'm not sure how close to Salvation did Antoine Yelchin pass away? I'm not sure. If we could have got Antoine Yelchin for the rest of the trilogy and brought back everybody else and just, recast, John Connor, like let Christian Bale go do something else. But even if Christian Bale came back, I very much would love to see the Terminator Salvation trilogy actually see the light of day. Like, I'm so upset that we never got that. That hurts my heart. Terminator 3000. After the cancellation of the Terminator Salvation trilogy, Hanover House announced an animated reboot of the original Terminator titled Terminator 3000. The film would have seen the return of Kyle Reese from the first film, meaning that many of the franchise's other early characters would have probably returned as well. Interestingly, the film was going for a PG-13 rating, which would have been very different from the earliest installments in the Terminator franchise. However, Hanover House, for some reason, announced Terminator 3000 without permission from the rights holders, leading to Pacificor sending a cease and desist letter ending the project before it even started. This one, I'm glad it didn't see the light of day. I do not want a PG-13 animated movie in the Terminator universe. Absolutely not. Terrible idea. The Terminator Genesis trilogy. Oh, F this before I even read it. F this, because that is my most hated movie in the franchise. I think Genesis sucks. After the failure of Terminator Salvation, the franchise took another swing at revitalizing the series with 2015's Terminator Genesis. Paramount announced 2 sequels to Terminator Genesis before the film even released, scheduling them for 2017 and 2018. However, Terminator Genesis was once again a critical and commercial failure, continuing a trend for the franchise. This led to the Terminator Genesis reboot trilogy being canceled, causing all kinds of Terminator Genesis related projects to fall apart. What's with the trilogy? Like, why are we obsessed with the trilogy? Even though I want my Salvation trilogy. The stuff for both Terminator Genesis sequels were already planned pretty heavily, with the films answering many of the questions that Terminator Genesis left open. The films would have explained who sent Arnold Schwarzenegger's Terminator back in time to protect Sarah Connor, while also further exploring John Connor's life as a cyborg. Oh, I hate that whole I hate that so bad. Most of the cast of Terminator Genesis was set to return for the sequels, including Jay Courtney, Matt Smith, J.K. Simmons, Arnold Schwarzenegger, and more. However, the second of the Terminator franchise's canceled trilogies never saw the light of day. The Terminator Genesis TV show. No, I'm glad this one didn't see the light. Anything around Genesis, I'm glad it didn't see the light of day. On top of a movie trilogy, the Terminator Genesis was also meant to spawn a Terminator TV series. The show would have connected to future Terminator Genesis sequels, although it would have also shown an alternate history for what happens in the original Terminator 1984 timeline. Interestingly, the Terminator Genesis TV show was set to be written by Ashley Miller and Zach Stentz, who had worked on a previous Terminator TV show, Terminator Sarah Connor Cross. Okay, now that was a good show. Maybe we might have been able to cook something up with this. Although the two shows probably wouldn't have been connected, it's possible that they would have featured similar stories and tones. I just feel like making John Connor a cyborg is the dumbest fucking, oh God, just the dumbest idea possible. But I go up for Sarah Connor Chronicles. That show was good. Like, I don't care. Shut the hell up. The Terminator Dark Fate trilogy. Oh my, I'm here for that as well. I love Dark Fate. The final set of canceled Terminator projects is a trilogy of movies based on 2019's Dark Fate. Dark Fate saw the return of series creator James Cameron, as well as Sarah Connor actress Linda Hamilton to the franchise, making hopes high for the film's success and potential future. However, Dark Fate was anything but a success, with it losing a significant amount of money despite it having a warmer critical reception than its predecessors. Again, where's Tyrese when I need him? What more do y'all want from Terminator? Like, Dark Fate is fucking solid. That's a solid action movie. According to Arnold Schwarzenegger, James Cameron was actually in talks to write the sequel to Dark Fate, which would have been his first writing credit in the franchise since T2. Almost nothing is known about the two Dark Fate sequels, although it was expected that Linda Hamilton, Sarah Connor would return. It isn't known what's next for the Terminator franchise, and with the series track record, whatever gets announced next may not even happen. Well, we know what's being announced next right now is James Cameron doing a remake, a modern revision of the 1984 original. But with the canceled Terminator things we never saw, I would have loved the Dark Fate trilogy. I would be interested in a Genesis TV show only because the same writers from Sarah Connor Chronicles would have been attached. So I would have been interested in that. And I would have also loved to have seen the Salvation trilogy. And I would absolutely prefer James Cameron's Terminator 3 over James Cameron's Titanic. Like, I would absolutely be here for it. Making John Connor a cyborg, that when I tell you it's the dumbest fucking decision. I consider that to be the single, and they done made a lot of missteps, but I consider that to be the single worst decision in the entire franchise. I hate it. Christian Bale is a good actor. Absolutely. Even great. Watch him. I love The Prestige. Christian Bale, just because you're a great actor, it does not mean you're the right fit for every role. I love The Prestige. Christian Bale is a great actor. I just do not think he was the best choice for John Connor. That's just my personal opinion. Titanic is a beautiful film, and I'm happy he decided to make that classic heartwarming. Titanic is fine, whatever. But I want T3, the James Cameron version. Let's see where our poll is, because I put our poll up in the chat for, do you think the Terminator 1984 needs a modern remake? We have 11 votes, with 91% saying hell no and 9% saying absolutely. So it seems like it's a bit unanimous that folks are not here for it. But I mean, I think it's nice or promising that the original creator is the one that is tied to this remake. But I just personally feel like I don't think we need a modern retelling remake of the 1984 original. And I also get the idea that if we want to continue the Terminator franchise, we need to like revamp it. We can, like, where else can we go with the John Connor, Sarah Connor, T-800 storyline? So for me, I feel like let the franchise die. I think Dark Fate is a good movie, and maybe it'll end up being one of those movies like John Carpenter's The Thing, where like it bombs initially, but maybe as years go by, like more people will get on board. I think Dark Fate is a solid place to end it at. And that was a new and different retelling of things. Like, we got a different future, we got an alternate future. John Connor was dead. We had this new girl that was the one that was gonna save everybody from damn machines and stuff. Like, it's fine to end it there. Or move forward with the Terminator Zero. I like Terminator Zero, and they introduce alternate timelines. It's a lot of people involved in the war with the machines outside of John and Sarah Connor. Let's follow all them people and let's do like the little anime, but I don't think we need to revamp, breathe new life into Terminator and like do the modern retelling. I don't know what. I don't know why James Cameron is so critical of the original 1984. Yes, it had a very low budget, but I think it is to this day one of the greatest movies of all time. Like arguably one of the greatest movies of all time. I don't think it's as cringeworthy and like has aged as terribly as he thinks, and I get it. Like he's the creator, so you're going to be critical of things. He didn't get the budget he wanted, whatever the heck, but I think it's pretty unanimous that it's a classic freaking movie. Yes, thank you, Equalizer. Salvation is a good fucking movie. Salvation is a good movie. Like, period. Absolutely. I love it. Yeah, Titanic is fine. But, I mean, it's not like I want T3, James Cameron, T3 over that. I'm so mad that he was working on Titanic and that the rights to Terminator was in limbo and that we did not get the damn... Oh, it hurts me. It hurts me. Hey, Vanessa. Terminator is my favorite. Yes, I go up for the Terminator franchise. Like, absolutely. But I thought this was a little fun discussion, conversation, revisiting Terminator, all the movies in the Terminator franchise, the whole James Cameron wanting to do. So, y'all, he is actively, as we read in the article, currently working on the script. They are doing a modern remake, whether we want it or not, to appeal to new audiences. So get ready to see the teeny boppers. I cringe at the thought of what the modern retelling of Terminator will look like. It's just always dangerous when Hollywood uses phrases like appeal to new audiences. I hate that so much. But from our poll, it seems like you guys are not on board for the remake retelling. I'm not on board for it. But hey, James Cameron is, and he the one with the money. He the man with the plan. So let's see, what they get into. But I don't think that I think the Terminator universe, movies and TV shows, for the most part, have been one of the most consistent and has only spawned one bad movie in my humble opinion. And I don't and that's relative because I feel like Terminator Genesis, I hated it when I first saw it. I just hate what they did with John Connor. Like I fucking hate it. Like I said, I can only equate it to like making Neve Campbell Ghostface. Like, why the hell would you make Sidney Prescott Ghostface? Like, that's what it feels like. It feels like such a disrespect. Like, we have all sacrificed. This has all been for John Connor. Like, to make him a cyborg, to make him with Skynet, which is the worst decision. But I also feel like the casting of Kyle Reese and Sarah Connor was terrible. The what they did with the characters, I hated the attitude that Sarah Connor had in Genesis. I hated calling the T-800 Pops. Like, it's so much with that movie that doesn't work for me narratively, but it is a solid, like, well-made movie in that aspect. On like, as bad as James Cameron feels like the Terminator 84 is on a production scale, Genesis is good on that scale. It's just the actual narrative, story, and casting for me makes it the worst movie in the franchise. But if Genesis is your worst movie in your franchise, your franchise isn't that bad. But I don't think that the Terminator universe has been so terrible the last few decades that we need to just scrap it all and like redo the original. And thank you, Vanessa, for the super chat. Thank you so much. It was so good to see you on the From Lives this week. I will rock with you until From starts at 12. Oh, and you look beautiful. Thank you. Thank you so much. Yes. If you haven't seen, I do have my current From video. It is live. So please make sure you check that out. I don't know what's going on with the From video, but my current From video is doing the worst out of all of my From videos. My first From video is at 320 views. My second one is at 461. And for some reason, my current one is barely over 100. So if you didn't see, I did post it, but that is there. And a new From episode is coming up, like Vanessa just said. So I will have that video up as well. And From starting to piss me off. I ain't gonna get into it, but From starting to piss me off because I got so hype and excited. I thought we were finally about to connect dots. I did much dislike all the latest Terminator movies. Wow, really? No, I didn't. I mean, we already went through all of the movies, but I like them all except Genesis. I think, like I said, T3 hasn't aged well, but I don't consider it a bad movie. But thank you guys so much for being here for our Terminator conversation. And what do we have coming up? Let me see what's coming up. From new episode will be up, and I'm off work for the next 9 days for my birthday, so I'm so hyped. So the From video will be coming. And let's see, tomorrow is the 13th. We have our oddity watch along tomorrow. We have we have to finish our Mike Flanagan watch along. So we have Gerard's Game, Absentia, and Before I Wake. And then we will be doing our live on October 20th, ranking every Mike Flanagan movie. And November 1st, I will be with Kay for the People Under the Stairs discussion. And I also have my video coming for the best thrillers that you might have missed. It's a lot of thriller movies that I think are so iconic that people never talk about. So I will be doing a video on that. Also, I am following the Walking Dead spinoff series, Daryl Dixon. We are back for season 2. If you are here on my channel, I followed season 1. So I have those 2 videos up. We are 2 episodes into the new season. And that new episode is also on Sundays with From. So both of those videos will be up soon. And I got all the time in the world for the next 9 days. So they'll likely be up sooner than I normally get stuff up. Or maybe they won't. Maybe I'll just be doing my own thing and it'll still take me time to get to it. But it'll be up. So just make sure you make sure your notifications are on. Check out the videos tab. Check out the, the community tab. And speaking of the community tab, I hit my 1,500 subscriber goal. Like 12 days ago was like, oh, I'm almost at 1,500 subscribers, and I hit my goal. So I am so excited. Yes, I like the anime. I did a video on the Terminator Zero anime. If you guys haven't seen it, that is up on the channel. Oh, I'm a true blue 100% all the way Terminator fan. 1 billion. My birthday is October 16th. Oh yeah, and I will be doing a live for my birthday. It might not be on my actual date of birth. My birthday is October 16th. I might not feel like, people don't want to work for their birthday. So I might do it either the 15th or the 17th. But I will be doing a birthday live where I am discussing, maybe not ranking, because like I said, I don't really want to do no work, but discussing my favorite movies from 1986, which is the year I was born. So not just horror movies, just my favorite movies in general from 1986. I will do that live. But I'm not working hard, okay? It's my birthday. So I'm just going to show up. It's going to be like a little loosey-goosey live, and I'm just going to be chatting about my favorite movies from 1986 because, it's my birthday, okay? I'm not going to work. But thank you guys so much for showing up here with me for this live. I really appreciate it. If anyone was here on my channel, like when I started it, I used to do these little discussions, like with the little like entertainment articles that I come across. And the people that was there at the time, I don't know if they're still here. I used to have the little thing that would read the article, but I just read it myself this time. But make sure you are subscribed. If you like the video, please like it. Please share it. Any videos that you like, please make sure you share them. Make sure you comment. It's great for the algorithm. And thank you guys so much for supporting me. And shout out to all the new Knights that are in the building because we just got like 40 new subs in the last few weeks. So shout out to y'all. Thank you for being here. Whatever brought you to the channel, I appreciate it. And is there any other business announcements or anything that I need to get to? Check out my videos though that I have recently uploaded. I did The Substance, the new movie The Substance. I did a full video on that I put up on October 5th. So check that out. I also did a live horror panel for my KillerCon where we also discussed and broke down The Substance. And trust me, I say different things in each video because there is so much to get into with The Substance. And even though I did 2 videos on The Substance, I still did not get into like all of my thoughts. Also, if you are looking for horror movies for spooky season for October, I did post a video on the best new horror movies that came to streaming in October, as well as a video on 31 horror movies for October. And I went outside my comfort zone and I saw It Ends With Us, okay, a romance movie, and I don't do romance. And I went on a little rant about that movie, so I posted that, so check that out if you haven't. And I also have some stuff coming up for members, so if you haven't, please make sure you check out channel memberships. I've had my channel memberships for like a year, and shout out to my members that been here since day one. Shout out to my current members that just hopped on. But I do have a new thing that I started of what did I call it? Y'all, what did I call it? Unboxing the Nostalgia, where I go back and I revisit old movies that I used to love, and I decide if it was actually a good movie, is it actually a classic, or is it just a nostalgia. I started with Species, and next I will be doing The Butterfly Effect. I have not seen that movie in 20 years, so we will see if The Butterfly Effect is a good movie or if it is just a nostalgia. Shout out to Vanessa Wicked for becoming a channel member. Thank you so much. And we have a lot of stuff going on in the memberships, whether it is members only watch alongs, whether it is just exclusive content that I put over there for the members. It's a lot going on back there. And I also just added a new tier because I'm going to be doing some new things. Look, it ain't got well, see, it gonna kind of have something to do with movies and TV, but kind of not. So if you have been around, I am moving into like my dream high-rise apartment. So I am literally like starting from zero. I'm going to be like doing like all my decor and stuff. So I was thinking about doing some members only content of me in my world of decor. I have been down the rabbit hole of like, I'm so excited. I'm so excited to get into this apartment. Y'all have no idea. So I'll have some stuff like that back there as well. But it is also just, you know, like my reviews, my commentary, and extra stuff that I don't do on the channel that is back there for members. Yes, Vanessa, you have been rocking with me for years. You have been here for a long time. Close to the beginning. I can't remember exactly when you came on the channel, but yes, you have been here with me for a long time. Thank you so much. Amy, shout out to Amy. Thank you for being here. She is also a member. Nikki, do another watch along. Last one was good and fun. Yes, we have quite a few watch alongs coming up. We did have we had a members only watch along that I tried to do the other day, but my Wi-Fi would not let me be great. It like clunked out on me. But I just finished the movie on my own. The movie is good as hell, and I'm so mad that the watch along got messed up because the movie was good as hell. Now, I will admit, I don't know what was wrong with me. I was pretty dramatic. So we tried to do the watch along for Hunter Killer from 2018, and it is the only movie that I have been so stressed out and my nerves were tore up. I couldn't finish the movie. So I never got to finish it. So that was our watch along. The movie is good, but I was dramatic because I don't know why I was so stressed. I cut the movie off. I was watching the movie like, what was wrong with me? Like, why was I that damn dramatic? The movie good as hell though, and I was stressed. But I don't know why I was so stressed years ago when I tried to see it that I had to cut it off. Like my nerves were torn down with that movie. But it's good as hell. And I'm so mad our watch along got messed up. But yeah, that movie, I gave it 4 out of 5 on Letterboxd. I go up for Hunter Killer. Hunter Killer is good as hell. But we do have some watch alongs coming up. I'm not sure when our next public watch along will be, but we have some members only watch alongs coming up. But thank you, Amy. I am excited too. I am so excited. It's what I envisioned when I was in Florida and I was thinking about moving up here to Nashville. Like, this is how I wanted to be living. Like I like, this is what I envision, like the high rise, like the and what made me fall in love with it is like they have these gorgeous floor to ceiling windows. Like I'm moving into a studio, and it's two different kinds. You either get like they have one whole wall of the studio that's like floor to ceiling windows. I was so obsessed and so in love with those floor to ceiling windows, but I ended up choosing the unit with the balcony, not the floor to ceiling windows, because since it's a studio, I just felt like I wanted that little outside space. No. That's why I was like, what was wrong with me with Hunter Killer? Like, of all the horror and stuff that I've seen, why did Hunter Killer stress me out so bad? I had to cut it off. I don't know. Loved Inside. Oh, and if you guys haven't checked it out, yes, we did our Inside watch along a few weeks ago, but yesterday I did a live discussing Inside, the French horror film Inside. We had a discussion on that. Hey, I like Virus 32. Stressed me out. Virus 32 had me stressed like Hunt Her Kill. Oh my God. I reviewed Hunt Her Kill Her. I saw it in theaters. I think that was last year. I don't know why that movie stressed you out. But I think I gave it like a favorable review after I left the theater and did it on my channel. But it recently came to Tubi and I went to rewatch it and I thought the movie was terrible. I was like, I gave this a favorable review. Oh my God. Yeah. Sometimes it sucks when your opinion is like written in stone. Cause I'm like, why did I give that a favorable review? I don't know. But I do want to do some like fun public like watch alongs for spooky season. I'm just not sure which movies I want to do. Like I was thinking about doing what is the movie? I did a review on it on my channel. Like I went to the theater to see it. The horror movie with that stupid freaking mannequin. Oh my God. But I haven't rewatched it since seeing it in the theater. So I was thinking about maybe doing a watch along of that. But I have a list of like my movies that like I'm not doing a lot of content for October because like this is my time to like chill. It's my birthday. I want to like do stuff. But I have like movies on my list that I first of all watch for Halloween season, which I'm also doing a video on that. I'm going to do a video on like my must watch, like my Halloween watch list. I'm going to do a video on that. Maybe I am doing a lot of content this month, but I don't think I'm doing a lot of content. Like not as much as I normally do. Like I'll be putting out a lot of content. You have a balcony in your new apartment. You are getting... And I feel like personally, I prefer the floor to ceiling windows. Like I don't give about a balcony. I only picked the balcony because I'm going to be in a studio. So I feel like I wanted that extra space. Like I love having like a dining room table and sitting at my dining room table. Like I sit at my dining room table and I eat and I do all kinds of stuff at my dining room table. And in the studio, I don't think I'm going to have space for dining room table. So I wanted the balcony so I could put like some like 2 chairs and a little table out there. Like so I could just have, you know, like the little space, get some fresh air. And that's one thing I didn't like in the high-rise buildings. The windows do not open like open. They open like a crack. And I'm like, baby, if y'all don't let people open the window. So that was another reason I really wanted the balcony. Because I have a thing with like, I don't like for like it to feel stuffy. I like to open windows and things and get like fresh air. So I was like, yeah, I want the balcony. But yeah, I'm so obsessed with this apartment. It's like, oh my God, we have like this rooftop lounge. We have like this beer and wine little place in the lobby. Like, oh my God, I can't wait. Y'all might not be getting no content because I'm just gonna be enjoying the new place. But okay, I think I've been signing off of here for like 20 minutes. But thank you guys so much for being here in my live. Thank you so much for being active in the chat. Please make sure you comment on the video once it, you know, goes live. Once I like end the live and it like is live on the channel, please make sure you know, comment, like, share the video, do all the good things. Thank you so much to Vanessa Wicked for the super chat. Thank you. I really, really appreciate that support. And thank you so much for becoming a channel member. I really appreciate it. It's lots of content back there already and lots of content coming up for members. And please make sure you check out the videos that I posted recently. And I will see you guys in the next one. Thank you.
Goodbye. Bye.